All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Monday afternoon. Blessings to everybody. In the name of Jesus, Yeshua, the Messiah, I pray everybody is very blessed. As for me, guys, man, is it Friday yet? I'm tired, y'all. It feels like it needs to be Friday. It is go time over on the homestead. I've been literally outside for the past 4 hours in the dirt, as can be seen by my hands. All right? Whoop. Shout out to my Illuminati handlers. Anyway, guys, all joking aside, we got to talk about this Bitcoin price. Shout out to everybody in the chat, guys. If we can get 1,000 likes by 2:30 p.m., that is in 30 minutes, we will be giving away $250 worth of a Bitcoin. Shout out to Cozy Babe in the chat. Shout out to Wolfman Ate My Coins. Good to see good friends in the chat. Shout out to 10 Pence. Shout out to Roba or Roba. Shout out to Jesse Ray. What is going on? I am George. He says 32.5. Next move up. Shout out to Ray De Silva. Jason Gasper is the GOAT of all traders. Well, that's definitely not true, but I appreciate the kind words. Shout out to Sujay Reddy, who says, "Hi guy, you need to check out this channel also, Nick Sean FX." Well, shout out to Sujay for shilling Nick Sean FX. Make sure to check out Nick Sean FX, y'all. What is going on, Ricardo Alves? What is going on, Crypto Carnage? Just another day at the office. Patrick Kella says, I think we might see some downside action. Yeah, you know, we might see some downside action here. Shout out to Muscle Motivation. What is going on? Keeping me motivated to stay jacked and shredded. Shout out to G-Man Crypto. And Tom Janowitz. All right, that's right. 28K is here. Shout out to Abu. Been calling 28K for a while up in here. Kyle Fleetwood, what is going on? What is going on? RTJ, pump up the price again. Crypto Josh. Shout out to Crypto Josh. Shout out to Jay Casper. Shout out to Kalethai. He says LFG, which means lettuce, forget grapes. Shout out to Divine Hood in the chat. What is going on? Kelly Kaiser, man. Wear your shirts, everybody. Don't come on here shirtless. Come on, let's have a little bit of class up in here. All right. Let's get into this Bitcoin chart, guys. First of all, I do want to take a look at the weekly because it is a new week. And what does that mean, guys? It means we do have a new... Oh, nice. Nice, I got a notification on my own phone saying that I'm live. That's good when YouTube gives notifications. There's two things I want to talk about on this weekly time frame, guys. The first thing I want to talk about is the fact that indeed we are trading above the 200-week moving average. We have had a very, very, very strong weekly close above the 200-week moving average, and more importantly, above the previous high that we have put in on the week. So the August high, we could have made the case that we did not put in a higher high until yesterday's weekly close, right? We could say, okay, we wicked up, but it was just a swing failure. We didn't actually close the candle, so we didn't actually put in a real higher high. Well, if we couldn't ask for a more bullish confirmation weekly close than this, in my opinion, guys. And I do think that now that we are above this 200-week moving average, we are going to see more of a move to the upside. Doesn't mean we're not going to get some downside or some volatility, right? I wouldn't suspect that we would have another weekly candle like this, although we very well may. But it is a little bit rare that you get two weekly candles like this in a row. Maybe we get a smaller weekly candle or something like that. When we look at Market Cipher B, there's two main things that I want to point out. Number one, people are talking about the bearish divergences that are forming on the daily and lower time frames. The weekly time frame right now has completely invalidated this bearish divergence. If we draw a line, a horizontal line, at 44.6 on Market Cipher B, this is where the previous momentum wave confirmed, right? We have now officially, right now, put in a momentum wave that is much higher, coming all the way up to 55.6, and the money flow is about to cross that zero line, looking very, very juicy for a money flow cross on the weekly. When we go to the daily, yes, we are seeing potential bearish divergences here, but look at the money flow. The money flow is curving back to the upside here. And a lot of times, when we are in ultra bullish environments, the purple money flow will be acting as a zone of support, right? So there is a case that could be made here that this money flow is now going to be acting as a support. There is that case to be made. It doesn't mean we totally discredit the bearish divergences. It just means there is still room for upside here, given the fact that the weekly divergences are invalid. The daily may very well be just bottoming out at the 0 line. And when we look at the 4-hour market Cipher B, look at how thick the money flow has gotten here, right? Very, very thick. It's thicker than it was back in February, right? So there is just overall what I would consider to be bullish direction here on market Cipher. And right now, Bitcoin is coming up to a very, very key zone of resistance. And some could say that we've already tapped into it, right? The $28,500 zone is the beginning of a key resistance. The reason why is because we're back testing these lows that we have seen over here, like from summer of 2021, right? The mid 28,000s, right? Around these lows, this is a clear support resistance flip. But for me, what's most important is going to be that $30,000 level. That $30,000 level, which is, in my opinion, the doorway straight to Pump City. Straight to Pump City. We've heard about Pump City. We've seen the commercials on TV late at night, the infomercials, right? We've seen pictures of people in Pump City always having a good time, somehow able to eat and drink whatever they want and always stay beautiful and sexy, right? We don't know how they do it. It must be all fake. It must be all Hollywood. But this $30,000 level, right? This is the value area low of the old range, meaning if the Bitcoin price can get a move above this level and then can confirm as support, in my opinion, this would be the inflection point. Do you like that term? Makes it sound cool, right? Could be a clickbait title. This is the Bitcoin inflection point. Speaking of clickbait titles, guys, make sure to like the stream. If we can get 1,000 likes in the next 24 minutes, 23 minutes, we will be giving away $250 worth of Bitcoin. This, by the way, could make for a very juicy swing trade setup because we would now be longing support, right? Right now, in my opinion, people are asking me, a lot of people have been asking me, like legitimately asking, Jason, is this a good time to buy Bitcoin, right? I'm no joke. I have friends who called me up, texted me here, Jason, should I buy? I said no. They said, well, I did it anyway. They let me know. They bought Bitcoin and they bought Doge because Doge was going to $1, okay? And then after this whole thing happened, they asked if they should sell. And I said no, and they did, right? Okay. I, no joke, have the same person right now asked should they get back in, okay? They bought here, they sold here, and now they're asking, should I buy here? Well, here's the thing. Right now, objectively speaking, we are coming up to a key area of resistance. If we are going to get any kind of pullback or correction, it's going to happen from that $30,000 zone. Because not only is this the previous value area low of this old range, and if anybody doesn't know what this means, it's just support and resistance. Support and resistance, it works like a house. You have multiple floors of a house, and price, once you go to the next floor, what used to be the floor will now become the ceiling, right? We can see this very, very clearly right here when, you know, the Bitcoin price, for example, formed a floor right here, and then when we fell below, it's hard to see on the weekly time frame, but when we came back up to here, it acted as the ceiling for a little bit. We got a little rejection. When we broke out, we came back down to retest what used to be the ceiling, now holding as the floor. And you can see up here for 2 years, the floor was $30,000, right? So now that Bitcoin is down in the basement, it makes sense if we use our moon boots and jump up with our open mouth thumbnails, clickbait titles, use our ByBit affiliate link, and we jump up, we will hit our head on the ceiling and probably get some kind of a move to the downside. Now, this is actually an opportunity in my opinion, because I do think that on the weekly time frame, things are looking very bullish to me. When we take a look at the market, the total market cap of Bitcoin right now, right? Let's take a look at that. BTC market capitalization. All right, this doesn't lie, right? This does not lie. In 2 weeks, we have seen $180 billion come into Bitcoin. In 2 weeks, $180 billion. All right, this is not a short squeeze. This is not a fake out. This is not manipulation. This is legitimate money coming into Bitcoin here, right? And we are indeed breaking out of this very bullish pattern, inverse head and shoulder on the Bitcoin market cap chart. And we are indeed running into resistance here, right? Resistance. So if we're going to get any kind of pullback, now is the time where we would be getting that pullback. And so now is the time where we should be planning, all right, if we're going to get a pullback here, where's the next opportunity to get into a juicy long trade? Well, I think that we could probably come up with some great levels on this stream. First of all, we have a new week that just printed, and it's left us with this very juicy kind of weekly order block right down here, this juicy level 22,167 of weekly support, right? It's a very key level. And also, if we take a look at the volume that has traded here since June, we can also see that is right around the retest of the value area high of this old range. And depending on where we pull this thing from, even if we just stick in the range like this, we can see it can give us a little bit of a juicier area. So this is one key zone that I would be very much so aware of right here, around that $23,000 level and a little bit below, right? It's a pretty big zone, but it nonetheless, when we're on these high time frames, these are zones that we want to be aware of, especially if we're looking on where would we plan to buy on spot or whatever, right? And then, of course, how could we discredit the Fibonacci golden pocket from the low to the high, which is also coming in right around that same exact area, right? So that $23,000 level is looking pretty dang juicy, in my opinion, if we get a pretty big pullback here to be looking to potentially scoop some up, right? This to me would be a scoop up level, because if we're in an uptrend, which we absolutely are, and we've officially closed a very bullish higher high on the weekly time frame, what that means is if the trend is our friend, it means when we put in a higher low, that should be a buy for us, right? That should be a buy for us when we put in a higher low. And the most logical place, in my opinion, to be putting in a higher low would be down here. Another area that we really need to be aware of is obviously going to be the support resistance flip at 25,200. This is the 200-week moving average confluence with the August high, and we know the August high was a very important area of resistance for a very long time, and now it is acting as a very key zone of support, right? We're just looking at support resistance flips, and especially if we're going to be looking for spot positions, these are areas where we really need to look for. When we pull our Fibonacci golden pocket from the last low that we put in on Wednesday, March 15th, to our current high, we see that the golden Fibonacci pocket retest lines up perfectly with the 200-week moving average and also the support resistance flip from the August high. So right now, just looking at this chart, we have two very key areas to be looking for potentially getting in if we are going based on the hypothesis that we're in an uptrend and the trend is going to continue, right? So if we're going to reject around this $30,000 area, these are two zones to be looking out for. In addition, if we put on our Fibonacci 382, would you believe it? I mean, it's almost impossible to believe, guys. But the Fibonacci 382, if we get a dump right now, it's a little bit difficult to see. So let me clean up the chart just a smidgen for us here. Or I'm going to clean up the chart just a smidge, Meister. Right? The Fibonacci 382, if you would believe it, literally is the exact August high. This is also the exact 200-week moving average, and the reason why this is so significant is because when we're in a very powerful trend, a very bullish and powerful trend, the Fibonacci 382 is actually the level you want to be looking out for, right? In the most powerful trends, where all the cool kids retrace, right? The jocks, the cheerleaders, they will retrace from the 382, okay? The 618, that's for the less popular kids, okay? That's for like the normal kids. They have some friends, but they're not super popular. And then the nerds and the neckbeards and the metalheads, they all retrace down to the 786, right? That's like your boy Jason Casper, right? The neckbeard, the nerd, the metalhead, the guy who could never get a girlfriend ever, right? Always getting rejected by all women, right? Even after I started working out trying to get buff, I still got rejected by the same exact women, right? For some reason, they weren't into a tractor, they weren't into a Market Cipher shirt, they weren't into a guy who only did chest and biceps, never worked out his legs a single day in his life, only curled in the squat rack. She didn't find that attractive. She was a squatter and a deadlifter, okay? But unfortunately, your boy, yeah, I don't even know how to squat or deadlift, right? Curls and push-ups only. So this is where we find ourselves, guys, with the Bitcoin price, and I think it's very, very obvious that the $30,000 level, we have a few different zones here. We have a few different zones. There's some naked points of control that we have around this $30,000 area. This is going to be our major resistance right up here between, I would say, 29,000 and 30,100. That's going to be major resistance. Major supports are going to be number one right here at the 25-week moving around 25,200. That's going to be key. Another key support is going to be down here at the value area high of the old range, also confluence with the Fibonacci golden pocket around $23,000. These to me are the most important levels that we need to be aware of to the upside and to the downside if we want to play these markets on these higher time frames in a way that would be most advantageous, where we'd be looking to TP and or short around this area, and we'd be looking to add to positions around this area. Of course, the hypothesis is that we will continue more to the upside. And based on the chart that I'm seeing here, guys, look, I'm not trying to get overly bullish after a 45% move to the upside. I'm saying, look, this is the area where we expect a pullback, but I'm saying the trend is now bullish on the weekly and the monthly time frame. And so therefore, we need to take off our bear glasses and we need to put on our buy the dip glasses, right? The market structure is king here. Market structure is king. You know, before everything else, before all the stupid theories about the Fed and all this and that, right? Market structure is king. And speaking of the Fed, speaking of all this stuff going on, guys, we are literally on the brink of a complete financial catastrophe happening right now. Shout out to everybody who liked the video, man. If we can get 1,000 likes in 15 minutes, if everyone likes the video now, we'll be giving away $250 of Bitcoin. We are literally on the brink of a global financial collapse. We are seeing international banks needing help, right? We just saw recently that several major banks announced coordinated action to increase US dollar liquidity provision in the global market. We're talking the Federal Reserve, the Bank of Canada, the Bank of England, the Bank of Japan, the Swiss National Bank, and the European Central Bank. This is crazy. And we know that next week, this week, it's already this week, guys. I'm sorry, you know, I'm flopping and groping with the time. This week, we have FOMC meeting where the Federal Reserve will be announcing the rates, okay? The FOMC statement, and I will be live streaming this, is going to be an epic stream full of volatility, full of juiciness, right? The FOMC statement, let's see, federal funds rate. Right now, they're forecasting it to be 5%, which is a 25 basis point increase, okay? 25 basis point increase. Now, a few weeks ago, when Jerome Powell spoke, people were debating, is it going to be 25 basis points or is it going to be 50 beats per second? All right? Because people don't know this, but the Federal Reserve is a speed metal band. And so when Jerome Powell, he's actually the drummer, and he doesn't go beats per minute, he goes beats per second. He's all about the blast beats, gravity blast on the snare drum. But now, after this whole bank thing started happening, and the Fed is providing liquidity, which is the fancy word for money, and no one really, you know, where's this money coming from? Now people are saying there's a chance that the Fed might not even raise rates at all, right? About 30% now are saying, look, the Fed's not going to raise rates at all. Now, personally, I think the Fed is going to raise rates. I think it's more probable that they raise rates. The reason is because if they don't raise rates, they're going to look like more idiotic than they already look, right? And they do look idiotic, right? When you listen to... I don't mean to slander anybody, but the tides are turning here. Because the Fed is in between a rock and a hard place. They have to make that decision. Look, are we going to keep raising interest rates and allow the banks to keep collapsing? Or are we going to stop raising interest rates, let inflation go back up? They're in between a rock and a hard place. And I look at both of these situations as being bullish for Bitcoin, and here's why. If the Fed keeps raising rates, right, people are going to be scared when their banks start to collapse. Janet Yellen came out and basically said, look, if you're in a local bank, if you're in a small bank, you know, we're not going to bail you out. We're only going to bail you out if we decide, you know, myself and the president, if a supermajority decides that your bank is worth bailing out, then we'll bail you out. Okay? And if not, you're screwed. So people are freaking out right now. And we have seen the money come into Bitcoin. We have seen the money come into Bitcoin. Absolutely. And we might see more money come into Bitcoin if the rates continue to rise and these banks continue to collapse. And on the other hand, if the Fed stops raising rates and inflation goes up, that's going to pump the price of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is inversely correlated to the dollar. When we take a look at the dollar, all right, just look at this chart for a second here. The top of the Bitcoin bull market happened down here, the spring of 2021. This was Bitcoin's top of the bull market, all right? I'm not going to say the all-time high. I'm going to say the top of the bull cycle. When we're looking at the 4-year cycle and comparing where the cycle tops out in regards to the halving, it happened in the spring of 2021. That's exactly when the dollar bottomed out. In November, after FTX went under, this is where the dollar topped out right here, okay? When we are looking at the dollar, we have to notice that we are right now losing a very key support, 103.509. The reason why this is such a key support is because we have been trading this channel since 2014. We could look at this entire structure here and say, this is one giant range, and this is just a bearish deviation outside of the range, and now we're going to come back down to the bottom of the range. And it'll take a while, right? We're talking from 2021 to 2022. From the bull market high to the bear market bottom. But let's see if we don't eventually make our way back down within the next few years, back down to the low of this range, right? Maybe around the spring of 2025, we might eventually end up coming back down to here. And who knows what the Bitcoin price is going to be at that time. But it is very interesting. They are inversely correlated. When inflation goes up, the value of the dollar goes down when compared to other things, because all inflation is the devaluation, if that's even a word, of the dollar. So it takes more dollars to purchase things. So Bitcoin is a thing. So if the value of the dollar is going down, that means it's going to take more dollars to buy a Bitcoin. And the same thing applies to anything we can think of, right? Which is why I'm such a huge proponent of being self-sufficient, growing your own food, producing as many things for yourself as you possibly can, because things always maintain their value, right? The value of a potato will always be the value of a potato. It's a piece of food that will sustain life and provide calories. The dollar is it's nothing. It's just based on a sanctified trust that society has created, saying this worthless piece of paper, this Federal Reserve debt note, is going to buy me something, right? But now I'm getting off on a tangent. And those things aren't really technical analysis, right? They're not really technical analysis. My point is, we are potentially gearing up for a major pump to the upside based on the things that are happening economically all over the world. The dollar technically coming down to a key support. Shout out to Brock Lenders for the super chat. What do I think of the total market cap resistance at 1.18 trillion? We could take a look at the total crypto market cap. And we're also seeing Bitcoin potentially now breaking up into a massive zone, right? Just like the dollar had a bearish deviation outside of the range, perhaps this is a bullish deviation back into the range. And here's the thing, guys. I'm not saying the bull market is here because it's still a year away from the halving. But what I am saying is that if we can reclaim 30K and hold this support, we may see a massive rally just like what we saw back in 2019. Do you guys remember the fake bull market of 2019? It was during the bear market, 2019, that we had this, right? This, back in the bear market of 2019, right? Bitcoin came down and found support at the 786 Fibonacci level, and then we rallied up about 350%. And what do you know? What's happening right now? Wow, Bitcoin finding support at the 786 Fibonacci level, breaking out of a key resistance, back-testing resistance, closing above this key 200-week moving average, which, by the way, we have never traded under in the history of Bitcoin. The 200-week moving average was our support in the last bear market. Isn't that crazy? It was our support twice, the bottom and then the Roni Baloney dump. And now we're breaking out of it. Very, very interesting times, guys. Extremely interesting times. And you could really make a good correlation here. You could really make a good correlation here of a very similar kind of thing happening, right? Of course, we can't look at past cycles to know for certain what's going to happen. Now, let's talk a little bit locally about the Bitcoin price, then we can take a look at some other charts. On the 1 hour time frame, guys, we are absolutely printing the upside down Sam Bankman-Fried bearish man boo pattern on the 1 hour, right? There's no doubt that as the price is getting higher and higher and higher, the market Cipher B is in fact printing the SBF man boob pattern. Money flow getting lower, momentum waves getting lower, eerily resembling the mammary glanditis of Sam Bankman-Fried, where we have the left big floppy side over here. See, here's the thing. He did not use a stop loss when it came to the gyno gains. And then over here, very, very flat-breasted chest. Money flow getting lower. The red tattoo pepperoni is getting lower. So there is definitely room for downside here, okay? There's definitely some room for downside. And something else that we need to be aware of is the fact that we did pump a lot yesterday. What does that mean? It means we have a CME gap to the downside, right? Let's take a look at some CME gappage. This indicator, which is, by the way, free on TradingView if you want to check it out, come over to indicators and just search for CME, and it's CME gap Bitcoin by Anche 1991 with 426 likes. Make sure to star that. It's a juicy indicator. But this will tell you where the CME gap is. And by the way, guys, the CME gap is how we had a CME gap from a long time ago. That's actually how I was able to get to a long from about 19,570 from down here, because we had, if we take a look at a higher term time frame, these CME gaps, they tend to fill, and when they do, they act as support. So look at this. We had the CME gap right here, and then it got filled down here. This is the level we gave in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, 19,552. Looking at that as a potential major zone of support. That's where we did find support. By the way, in the Casper Crew, guys, you know, I have not been trading very much lately, but the two long trades that we gave most recently that played out with our confirmations and levels, because not every idea plays out with our confirmations and level, but the last two longs played out very, very juicily, and we were able to pretty much long the last two major bottoms on the way up, okay? And I've closed out of one of my long trades here, completely closed, but I'm still holding two longs. Still holding two longs. One of them I have not even taken profit at all. The other one right here I'm still holding, and I am looking to add to it, hopefully, if we get a local bounce before 23K. If not, I will have to close it out and look to open at a lower price, right? By the way, if you want to join the Casper Crew, you can go to patreon.com/Jason Casper. We do 3 live streams a day. We give our levels, our setups. It's not a signals group, guys. We're not going to tell you long here, stop loss here, take profit here, but we will give you a setup with a stop loss and a take profit and say, look, if the chart looks like this as the price comes down to this level, then I will take a trade, right? But we're not going to tell you to take a trade. We do everything but say long and short, because this is not financial advice, and we're not financial advisors, but we are an educational group. And if you want to take advantage of trading on ByBit with 0% limit fees to long and short, check out the link in the description, guys. It's great for people who are scalping on lower term time frames. Yeah, you know, you can long and short these markets, and yeah, if you deposit $100, you get a month free of the Crypto Fusion trading bot. But please, only if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, please learn how. If you need to learn, 20% discount on the trading course at jasoncaspertrading.com. All right, enough shillage. We are looking at this CME gap to the downside, which is coming in right now at about, whoa. All right, no, we need to fix that, huh? Let's see where the CME gap is coming in. All right. Bear with me, guys. We're having some technical difficulties. Maybe I should try and tell a joke in the meantime. What in the heck is what is happening here? I have no idea, guys. All right. Okay. Well, the CME gap is coming in around one of these areas down here. Okay. What? Well, okay. The CME gap is coming in around this area right here, okay? We don't need the dang indicator, but the CME gap is coming in around 26,900, like give or take, right? So this is going to be our CME gap. So very, very local support. If we're going to hold support locally and get another pump to the upside, we've got this 27-ish K CME gap, right around this area. It's actually a very important zone of support. And not only is it a CME gap, but also if we take a look at the daily candles, it is a daily order block right down here, right? We have these blue candles, blue, 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 blue. Then all of a sudden in the middle of nowhere, we have this purple candle, right? Now, some might say, okay, we've already tapped into the order block. Yes, we've already technically tapped into it and have gotten a bounce. However, and this is a big however, it's important to note that this right here, the bottom of the candles, is typically where we get the juiciest reaction. And it's also important to note that if we take a look at the golden pocket pull from the last significant low that we put in down here on Friday to the high, that the Fibonacci golden pocket is lining up perfectly with that CME gap, as well as that the bottom of that daily order block. And so locally right now, we have a very juicy zone of support below. If we're going to take out the lows from Sunday, right, this would act as very, very local support. So I am actually interested in this level, right? Was hoping maybe we would come down to it during the stream. Not sure if we will. When we take a look at what happened even more locally this morning, we didn't really find any kind of major resistance, okay? But what we did do was we came up and we put in a high, and this high was put in right here at about 28,487, 28,487. And then what happened was we came and we got a chicken's drinking water, right? We took out that high with a bearish divergence. Price got higher, the momentum waves got lower, and that was a chicken's drinking water. And then what could have given a good short scalp setup was the following. When we take a look at what happened right here, after we get this high, right? After we get the high and we put in our first low, we actually reject perfectly from the Fibonacci golden pocket retracement right here. And that could have given a very juicy short scalp setup, which was actually a trade that I did take this morning, and I still have a portion of it open, stop loss at the entry. Let's see what's happening right now, because Bitcoin is getting a pump. And so right now we do need to be aware of this Fibonacci golden pocket retracement right here. Let's see what happens. Let's take a look at our order flow chart, because Bitcoin is getting a move right now. Let's kind of see what we've got going on here, because we have this local range. I would consider this to be kind of a local range here, somewhat of a consolidation. Let's put on our 786 fib here. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, obviously we are coming up to a pretty crucial zone of resistance, which is going to be around 28,300. Bitcoin is either going to reject here and make a lower low, or break out and put in a higher high. When we're looking at this, we could see that we have our high, right? But I wouldn't consider this market structure to be bearish unless we take out this low. But we know this is Sunday's low, and we have support under here. We have a lot of supports below us, guys. We have a lot of supports below us. So let's check out the order book and see what is actually happening in real time right now. Okay, so we're coming up to VWAP, and we have shorts getting absolutely wrecked, and we have a lot of longs actually opening up right now. We have shorts getting wrecked. We have longs opening up right now. We got about a 12 million volume candle. Look at all the shorts that have gotten wrecked here, and we have a lot of longs that have actually opened up here. Even longing right into the VWAP, which is not always the best idea in the world, guys, to long into VWAP. The reason is because it is just a zone of resistance. So if you can avoid longing into VWAP, that is always best. Let's go down to an even lower time frame. We will go to a TR chart and see what is happening more locally. Okay, so we have reclaimed the VWAP, and we don't see any kind of bearish CVD divergences, but what we do see are shorts getting absolutely wrecked, and we see a lot of shorts getting absolutely liquidated right here, and we see a lot of longs actually coming in right now. And so because shorts are getting wrecked and longs are coming in, we have a lot of buyers coming in here. Well, we may push up more, and the next major zone of resistance is going to be the golden pocket and this high volume node area right here. And so I would really be watching this zone right here, because if we come into here and we are seeing somewhat of some bearish absorption happening, well, we might expect that we get another move to the downside. So let's turn on Coinalyze.net, one of my favorite tools, Coinalyze, to clear out the noise and just look at the crypto, right? So let's see what's going on here. We're going to go to the 15-minute time frame. and just kind of see, wow, okay, so it is pretty well, okay, so here's what we would want to see. If we are going to get a clear rejection from here, we could be looking for somewhat of a bearish divergence, which would be this. All right, we're going to pull our fib from the high to the most recent low, and then we're going to mark out the area between the golden pocket and the 786 Fibonacci right here. This is going to be our zone of interest, right? Just like how this morning the golden pocket was the zone of interest to take the local short from right here, right? We were looking at this area between the golden pocket and the 786 this morning to say, you know, if we come into this zone and we're seeing some kind of absorption happening, which we absolutely did, then we could look for a short. But now we're saying, look, same exact thing. If we come into this zone and we see absorption happening, we could also look for a short. What would absorption look like? It would look basically like the CVD coming higher than we were at this high, and the open interest also getting a move to the upside. Right now, this move up is primarily being fueled by traders closing out, right? We have some longs opening up, but primarily when we look at what's happening here, we can see all these shorts are closing out, right? Big decrease of open interest, lots of shorts getting wrecked here, more so than longs opening up, right? And so what we would want to see is the following, right? We would want to see the open interest start to increase. We want to see people FOMOing long. We want to see more longs opening than there were up here. Price making that lower high, showing us that there are longs being absorbed in this box. That could actually give us another push to the downside here, right? That could give us another push to the downside, and maybe we could do something like this. I mean, if I could control price action right now, if I could have my way with the Bitcoin price, I would want something like this. I would want something like this to play out. I would want to put in a lower high locally here. I'd want to take out the liquidity from yesterday, find support at that golden pocket, and then get a move up to hit our $30,000 level. That's if I could have anything in the world. That's what I want. Are we going to get that? Who knows, right? We can't know. Is price going to go up? Is it going to go down? It depends, guys. This is not a picture of the depends guy. This is a picture of the depends guy. This is a picture of Dolores, the waitress who works at the diner, and sadly, she has uneven gluteus maximi, okay? Sadly, she has uneven gluteus maximi. Now, shout out to everybody who didn't like the video. We got about 1,300 people in here, only 500 likes. I know I said if we could get the 1,000 likes by 2:30, we'd be giving away $250 worth of Bitcoin. Now, if we can get 1,000 likes by 2:45, that is in 8 minutes, we will be giving away $100 worth of Bitcoin. Yeah, so that is really what I would want to happen most, right? Something like this. And I don't know if we're going to get that, right? I don't know if we're going to get that. But when we take a look at what happened earlier this morning, after we got the CDW, actually, I do want to walk you through a very good trade entry that has a very high win rate, right? And that is this, right? Let's go through a very high win rate potential trade entry here, right? Let me clear off a chart. If you see that the price is coming up to a zone of resistance, right? Or even not even coming to a zone of resistance. Let's just say price is in the middle of nowhere, right? Price is in the middle of nowhere. And you see that we put in a significant high. Mark out that high. And then if price takes out the high with bearish divergences, this should pique your interest in a short trade, right? Price makes a high, and then much later, price takes out that high. It could be soon, but we're looking at the hour time frame, and you notice that is doing so with bearish divergences, momentum and money flow. This should now pique your interest for a trade, right? Then what you should do is you should pull that fib from the high to the first low that we make, and then mark out the zone between the 786 and the 618. And this should be your potential entry zone right here, right? So step number 1, price makes a high, gets a rejection. Step number 2, CDW. Price fails to close the candle above the previous high, but we get bearish divergences along the way, right? Step number 3, you're going to pull your fib from the high to the low, and you're going to put a box around the golden pocket and the 786. Then you're going to wait. When price gets there, what do you want to see? You want to see market Cipher B printing a trigger wave, right? A wave lower than that previous wave. Secondly, you want to see on coinanalyze.net absorption. What is absorption? Absorption is when the price is making lower highs and the CVD is making higher highs, which we clearly see right here, right? The price is making lower highs. The CVD is making higher highs as we are coming into our key box of resistance. That is the long trigger. The short trigger. It's a really powerful trade setup. It's very rare that those things will happen in the chart in that order, and it doesn't play out in your favor to a point where you can at least take some profit. Okay? Then you move the stop loss to your entry, and now you have just secured a profit. Okay? That is the trade that I took this morning, and I did not give the setup in the Casper Crew VIP Discord because I did not have time to, right? But that is a great trade setup that anybody can look for. It is a very simple one as well. And let's see if I do get stopped out here. We are looking now to come up to this zone, potentially seeing even more absorption. Are we going to see it? It's too early to say, but we are seeing an increase of trades opening up right now. Let's take a look at exo charts and see what else is happening here. Man, I hate when this happens, guys. You know, it's a good thing though. I'll tell you, I'm not sponsored by Apple, but man, the iPad is nice. The iPad is nice because you can have EXO loaded up, nice big screened and all that, and it's pretty dang juicy. Okay, so are we seeing any kind of absorption here? We are seeing some longs opening up. We're also seeing some shorts opening up. Actually, I do have to be honest, we're seeing shorts, more shorts than longs opening. This actually might be some bullish CVD forming locally right here. Very, very locally. I mean, above VWAP, we've got more shorts opening than longs. So who knows, maybe we're going to get a big move to the upside. Again, we want to see, in order for this idea to be valid, we need to see the absorption happening, right? To some capacity. That could be something like this, where we just get a big move up and CVD comes higher, right? Or it could be something more local, where price comes up and starts to do something like this, right? And meanwhile, the CVD keeps getting higher and higher and higher, right? And open interest keeps coming up and up and up. And we're seeing the absorption happening at the golden pocket. One of those two things would need to be present in order for us to expect a rejection from this area. Now, here's the thing, guys. I do think that when we look at the chart in general, we have not hit the key level of resistance yet that I am looking to hit, which is that $30,000 level. I think it's unlikely that Bitcoin pumps all this way and doesn't hit 30K. Could happen, of course, but I think it's unlikely. I think it's very unlikely. You will notice, more often than not, if there is a very key level on a chart, the price will hit that level. And you'll even notice this, more often than not, and I've gotten wrecked because I ignored this principle. But if we have a key zone of resistance, let's say right here, which we absolutely do, key zone of resistance right here, if the price makes its way up to it very, very close and then gets a pretty significant rejection, we're just going to blast right through next time, as opposed to coming up to the level and getting a rejection right from it. So I do think that because we're so close to major resistance, we are going to get another push to the upside. I think Wednesday is probably going to be key for Bitcoin. Wednesday tends to be that pivot point of the week. So if today and tomorrow we continue with downside, I would expect a bounce on Wednesday. If for the rest of the week we consolidate, or let's say we just range here for a while and then on Wednesday we start to pump and rally into the FOMC news, I would expect a rejection from this area, at least a temporary pullback, right? That just makes the most sense to me. Okay, let's pop open the chat and see what's going on here. Shout out to Brock Landers. Bitcoin might be in a rising wedge. Let's check out the rising wedge. Shout out to Brock Landers for the super chat. Oh, I see this rising wedge here. Yeah, look at that. Okay, this is a bearish pattern. This is a bearish pattern. Let's see where our target would be for this wedge. Our target for the wedge would be right around that 24.5 thousand. It's actually a really nice support resistance flip around that area. Well, would you look at that? Would you look at that? We have a golden pocket right around that area, and the target is right back down to this key zone of support. This key zone of support right here. That is very interesting. Shout out to Brock Landers. Yeah, look at that. Bitcoin right now is, in fact, getting a move to the upside. And I'm very curious to see what is going to happen at this golden pocket, given the bearishness of the 1 hour here. Are we going to get a rejection, or are we going to blast up and put in a new high? Let's see. This is absolutely crucial right now for Bitcoin. Let's see if we can't get somewhat of a new high here. Shout out to Anon says, this Blade Runner 2049 music is the only music I trade to. Can I share my market cipher settings? I use stock settings, my friend. Shout out to Jouster 1988. Greets from the Netherlands. Bless you. I'll guess the rising wedge will play out on a Wednesday pump. Yeah, perhaps we'll have to see. We'll have to see. We have a big bullish CBD div on the 15 minute, says Brendan Shoemaker. Let's check out the big bullish CBD div on the 15 minute. Oh, wow. Yes, we have a very large CBD divergence here on the 15 minute. Yep, that is a very big bullish divergence on the 15 minute right there. That is for certain. Dang. Well, you know, guys, it is kind of a bummer because I've been waiting for lower to add to some of my long trades. But yes, Brendan Shoemaker sees a bullish divergence on the 15 minute, and there is indeed a bullish divergence here. Price has made a higher low, and the CBD has made a lower low, and open interest has increased from this low, although not too much, but nonetheless, it is still a valid divergence here. So let's see how this plays out. Let's see how this plays out. I am very much so interested in this purple box, guys. If we don't reject from the purple box, I would be very surprised if we don't make a higher high here. And honestly, a higher high right up here could be also a nice area for a local short. We do have some interesting areas of resistance above us, actually, right in this area. So let's see what happens. Maybe we'll catch a juicy move on stream, guys. That would be pretty dang juicy. Greg wants to know, did Jesus use Market Cipher B, or is he more of an XO guy? I don't know, man. You know, we'll have to ask him when he comes back. I don't know if he ever traded Bitcoin while he was here in the flesh. But, you know, that would be a very interesting question to ask him. The div goes back further than that as well. Yeah, look at that. I mean, it does go back pretty dang far. I mean, if we want to talk about bullish CBD, man, we could go back to, like, November, right? I mean, would you look at that? This entire move has been fueled by bullish CBD on the massive time frames here. It's crazy. That is absolutely, that is crazy. Is this not crazy though? Yeah, wow. Wow. We've been watching this for a while here. But yes, this is very, very bullish on the 15 minute as well, with the multiple drives of bullish CBD. Man, how I would love a bit more of a pullback, guys. I would love to take these lows. I would love to fill the CME gap even and take the Saturday low. You know, how I would enjoy so much just to come back down a little bit lower. You know, before I add to this trade, I just don't want to add at a bad price, guys. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to add at a bad price. So I got to wait for a little bit more of a pullback. I would like to at least come down to the 26.6 area. But let's see what happens, guys. Shout out to Mr. Raw Milk. Man, you know, raw milk is so good for you, you know? You gotta be careful, though. It could kill you. But if it doesn't kill you, it's good for you. But it's a huge risk. When doing divergences, is it from wick to wick or body to body? I always go wick to wick, my friend. I never, ever look at the body of a candle. I don't care about the body of candles. Maybe on a higher term time frame, like the weekly, you could look at a candle close, but when we are dealing with, I would say, the 4 hour and down, we only want to care about the wicks. I would use a line chart, but the line chart doesn't show you the wick, right? but I'm looking at the candles as if it is a line chart. So you can see right here that we wick up to this area of about 28,583 on the candle wick, but when we use a line chart, you can see that we don't come up to that level, right? But I'm looking at price as if it is a line chart. That's what I really care. I care, did the price get higher at all? And did the momentum get higher at all? Right? I don't care about candle bodies. Shout out to Kuhal Kumar. Let's take a live short. Yeah, let's see if we can't get a live short from this zone here. This is what I'm looking at. And if we do get some kind of absorption, some kind of entry trigger from this zone, I will absolutely add to the short that I'm currently in. Right? But right now, I'm not seeing that, guys. I am not seeing any kind of absorption, but I am seeing weakness in the sense that this is so far being fueled by a decrease of open interest. So there is a chance that we do get a rejection from here. But I would prefer to see some kind of absorption happening. This is the 5-minute chart. Let's see. Yeah, so we do have longs entering here. We absolutely have longs entering here. We have actually a significant amount. We've got some buying imbalances coming in here, 2.7 million, and we can see an increase of longs coming in here. So there are some longs that could get absorbed here, but we are not seeing any kind of divergence, which is not, you know, it's a little iffy. It smells a little iffy to me, you know. It smells like pasteurized milk when left out on the counter. Now, if you leave raw milk on the counter, it turns into basically cheese, right? It turns into cheese, right? And you could eat it, and it tastes good, right? But it's starting to smell like pasteurized milk left on the counter. I prefer me some raw goat milk, if you know what I'm saying. Lower high incoming. That's what we're looking at, right? That's what we're looking to see. And right now, although it's possible, I would prefer to see some kind of a divergence here, and I'm not seeing it, right? I'm not seeing it. So for me, it's a little bit sketch. I think I'll sit this one out, to be honest with you guys. I think I'll sit this one out. It's a little bit sketch. Pasteurized milk on the counter. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If we can get, man, so, you know, if we can get now 1,000 likes by 3 p.m., that's in 8 minutes, we'll be giving away $50 of Bitcoin to one very blessed winner. And guys, don't hate on me for drinking this poison Zevia soda. You know, I'm so tired. I'll tell you guys, I'm exhausted. I've been working outside for like 8 hours a day, in the morning, noon, and night. In the dirt, guys. In the dirt. I'm not even joking. Right? Look at my hands. They're covered in dirt. Right? They're absolutely covered in dirt. Because I'm preparing those garden beds. So I've been needing a little extra caffeine. All right, Bitcoin. Let's see what you got, baby. Let's see what you got. Are we going to get that pump up to the Fibonacci golden pocket? All right, let's see here. Let's see. This is the zone. This is the zone. This is the make it or break it zone right here, guys. Make it or break it. I call it the mob zone. Make or break. And if we do see any kind of semblance of absorption here, I will add to my short trade. The tool that I'm using, what tool? Corninco Maxime. I'm using right now, I'm using EXO charts, which is this right here. This is EXO charts. Wow, we are seeing longs coming in here. And I also use a tool called Coinalyze, which is totally free. Coinalyze is totally free. This can tell you a lot of the same stuff that EXO charts can, just not as much data. But in my style of trading, this is primarily all I really need. Primarily, right? And I also use something called Market Cipher. Market Cipher is this indicator down here, which is a beautiful, beautiful indicator. although sometimes it can get a little scary because it resembles upside down uneven butt cheeks from time to time, and it also resembles this woman at the diner and her butt cheeks, and also resembles Sam Bankman-Fried hanging upside down with his gynecomastia being exposed. But it's a very good indicator. I like it a lot. Okay, so we are coming up right now to the 6 Juanita. We are just front running the 618 just by a smidgen. And I do have to say, based on market cipher here, based on the money flow getting lower, we are either about to find support here at the money flow crossing purple, or we're about to come down lower. And I do hope we come down lower, guys, because I have been waiting all day to come down just a little bit lower to add to this long that I am currently in right now. Okay, and this is compounded long from the CME that we gave in the Casper crew. I've closed out of this long completely, and I've just taken my money and dipped out of this one, looking to enter a freshie, right? So I took this long, I compounded it here, I'm totally closed out now, looking to open up a freshie as well. So, all right, we're starting to get a little pumperoni here. Look at this 1 minute candle pumping up on the Bitcoin price, straight up to our green box of juice, right? This is the Capri Sun level right here. The old school Capri Suns, the one that were hard to put the straw through. You guys know what I'm talking about, all you 90s kids. Shout out to Dread Mining in the chat. 1 minute bear divs. Do we have 1 minute bear divs? Dang. Not TradingView. I do use TradingView. That's what I have Market Cipher in. Exochart, is it useful? Exochart is very, very useful if you are scalping low term time frames. And I'm talking like low term time frames, right? If you're day trading, you don't really need it. And for me, I do enjoy it, right? I actually enjoy it a lot. But I could totally get by without it, just using Market Cipher and a little bit of Coinalyze. That would be enough for me. So it depends on how much trading you want to do. Like today, for example, the only trade I've taken today, I didn't need exocharts to get into that trade, right? Because it was not a low time frame scalp trade, right? It was a higher term time frame trade. The setup itself came over the course of this entire, I mean, the setup itself started last night. This was sign number 1 of the trade setup. This was sign number 2 of the trade setup. This was the entry of the short right here. And so I don't need exocharts to get into that trade, right? But if you are trading in these tiny little ranges, and then yes, you would need it, because otherwise there's no other way to get enough confirmation in the moment to be taking trades in like a zone like this. And people do scalp ranges like this, and it's possible, right? I don't do that. Not usually. I mean, sometimes. Is trading my full-time job, Jose? No, heck no. And I hope it never is either. I hope it never is, right? I hope I always have at least one business, always. And I hope I always have multiple streams of income. So, no, it's not my full-time job, and I hope it never is. Right? Hope it never is. 2 minutes to downtrend, says Crypto Rockstar. Is it the pump song time? Shout out to Golden Pocket. Where am I looking to long? I'm long from 22,751. Exocharts or Coinalyze, which one is worth it? Well, Coinalyze is free, Linus. So, let that be what it is. Alright, where am I looking to long? I am looking to long, I mean, the first place I would want to... First place I would really, really like to long is going to be taking out the Sunday lows, right? That would be the first place. The second place would be taking out Saturday's low down here. Saturday's low would be very juicy because we have the CME gap from Friday right around this area as well, right? And we have a golden pocket. So for me, as far as like my swing trades go, I would definitely be interested in... Let's see here. What was that? Yeah, that... I think right around here, right around 26.3-ish. like right around this zone right here, would be ideal for me, right? Just take all the weekend liquidity. I don't know if we're going to get that though, right? That's the thing. So I'm very picky about adding to my swing trades, because if you add to your swing trade at what should just be a scalp, then you ruin your entry for no reason. You know what I'm saying? You ruin the entry for no reason. So if I'm going to make my entry higher, I want it to be from a level that's very juicy. All right, we're at the 15 minute. Let's go down to the 1 minute. Okay. Did we see any kind of absorption here? No. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the chat, guys. Dang it, man. It's 3 o'clock. If everyone likes the stream right now, we can do the giveaway. If everyone likes the stream literally right now, we could do a giveaway. All right, here we go. Starting to pump. Let's see what's going on in real time here. Okay, longs are closing out of their positions. Shorts also are kind of closing out. This is not a very strong move right now. Volume is very, very low here. It's making me think, unless we get a big spike in volume here, we might not be able to power through. So we are not seeing any kind of absorption. So for me, this is a no action zone for me here then, right? I don't see anything here that's making me want to take action. I don't see anything that's making me want to short this area. I don't see anything here that's making me want to long. So for me, this is a no trade zone, right? And being a no trade is in itself being in a trade, because you are not risking any capital, and so you are saving your capital on the sideline, waiting for that perfect opportunity, right? No trade is also a position to be in. What price on Bitcoin would invalidate this uptrend? Well, for that, and by the way, shout out for the super chat. But in order to invalidate this uptrend, what we need to do now is we need to actually change market structure on the weekly. Okay, so that is going to be a pretty significant drop to the downside. That means we have to take out 19,500. That would invalidate this downtrend for me. You know, you could have said even back here that we invalidated the weekly uptrend, and I actually was getting very bearish after putting in this low. But yes, that is now what we would have to do to invalidate this weekly uptrend, is take out that last low, making a lower high on the weekly. And if that happens, then I would look to short the next rise, right? I would look to short the next rise like this. I mean, this would be a very beautiful trade setup actually if we look at this, right? That would be a beautiful short actually. That would really be a very nice short, because you know, this is just the deviation above the range high, and then we come back in to make the lower high, and then we can short from the perfect support resistance flip, the May low, the August high, the February high, right? Lower low, golden pocket retest, short, stop loss, take profit. That would be a very nice potential setup. It would be as nice of a setup as a long from 30K if we blast through 30K and then come back down to retest 30K, right? It would be a very, very nice swing trade setup. When those types of trades don't come very, very often. They really don't come very often. Uh-oh. The pump song. The pump song is a playing, guys. The pump song is a playing. That's true, Lauren. Yeah, that would be a beautiful short, and then we could buy on spot. Yeah, that would be great, right? It would be a win-win. If this doesn't go to 69K in a few weeks, we'll have a good weekly hidden bear div. Probably around 40 to 45K, says Anti-BK. Yes. Yes, and you know what? If we break out of the $30,000 level, then we are absolutely looking at that $45,000 level, because we have this old range right here, and that is basically the value area high of that old range. Boom. Right? Value area high of the old range. And it's a level that not many people are looking at, because here's why. It's not the golden pocket, right? We would front run the golden pocket. Everyone would be waiting for the golden pocket. We'd hit the value area high. Also, we've got this. which, if I'm not mistaken, the target of that is also... Yeah, look at that. This would be a perfect level to reject from, because, man, that would be so dang perfect. So 37K is a key level, right? Let's not forget 37K being a very important zone. 37K is that 618 fib level, target of the inverted head and shoulder. If we reclaim 37K, everyone's going to get very, very bullish, and once we start coming up here, everyone's going to be expecting the golden pocket, taking out these highs, right, into the weekly order block, and be waiting for that level, but then we smack dab into the value area high of that mini range and front run the golden pocket and basically wreck all the bulls and the bears, and then get a retrace. That would actually be a very, very juicy scenario to be looking out for. And yeah, that would give us a very crazy hidden bearish div on the weekly, where the price is making a lower high and the momentum is making a higher high as we come up to that level. That would be very nice, and that could be actually our pullback, where we could then look to long 30K again, right? Depending on how long it takes for this to play out, this is the weekly chart. I mean, who knows? The halving, when is the halving? The halving doesn't come around until like way over here. Yeah, so maybe that wouldn't play out, right? But who knows? Maybe we will rally into the halving. And if we do rally into the halving, this could be something very nice to look for. Because once we're back inside of this old range, this macro range, right, and break above 30K. Hang on, I just want to do some hypothetical stuff here, guys. I love to do this because this is how we get our trade ideas, right? This is how we get our trade ideas. We think about what ifs, and then when they start to play out, we have a context from which we're looking to trade. So if we do come up to that $45,000 level, wow. Wow. Okay. So, I really like this idea, okay? I really like this idea. So look at this, guys. Look at this. We break out of the head and shoulders. We come above the target of the head and shoulders. We front run the golden pocket. We come right to the value area high of the March 2022 range, and that's where we reject from, right? We come down to the Fibonacci golden pocket, which just so happens to be the neckline of the head and shoulders, right? We give it all back, come back down to the retest, right around 26.5K, fake everyone out because people think 30K is going to hold, bounce from the golden pocket, and then start to rally. That would be a really nice idea, and I really like it because it would catch a lot of people off guard. Right, so we do need to be aware of these levels. Very, very hypothetical. We don't know what the heck is going to happen, but just things to be aware of, guys. Just things to be aware of. Shout out to Cardonian for the super chat. He gave me a pear character flying in the air with a red cape and a smile on his face, and unfortunately, my friend, I can't show it on stream, but God bless you. Thank you so much for the super sticker, man. Thank you so much. Will can't hear this beat without thinking of me going ham a couple days ago. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, it's been an hour, and I have to get back to work, so God bless you all. Thank you so much for being here. Unfortunately, we can't do the giveaway today. Maybe tomorrow. Make sure to come in tomorrow and like the stream. Make sure to be here Wednesday for FOMC. Around 1:30, we're going live. It's going to be crazy. Guys, God bless everybody. In Jesus' name, even if you're not religious, may the Lord bless you. May He protect you. May He shine light upon you. May He have grace upon you. May the Lord turn His face towards you and give you wholeness and peace. And I'll see all you guys in the next stream. Peace.